Have you ever truly wondered, what if the reason you feel disconnected, tired, or less alive after 60 isn't because of your age, but because of something your body is silently missing? If that question stirs something in you, I invite you to stay with me, because what you're about to hear is not criticism, it's a revelation, a truth that has been overlooked for far too long. My name is Dr. James. I've spent over 30 years in the field of men's health, helping older men recover their energy, vitality, and sense of self. And there's something I need to say right from the start. Aging doesn't have to mean fading. Low energy, poor circulation, and a declining sex life are not inevitable. They're often symptoms of a deeper, hidden issue: mineral deficiency. The truth is, many older men are doing the right things, eating well, exercising, getting enough rest, and still feel like they're slowly slipping away. But what's slipping is more than muscle or stamina. It's presence. It's the ability to feel fully alive in your own skin. That kind of disconnection is often not emotional. It's biological. When your body is starved of certain key minerals, your hormones falter, your nerves misfire, and your circulation weakens. And slowly, you stop feeling like you. What most people don't realize is that minerals are not just about bones or cramps. They're critical to hormone balance, blood flow, brain function, and the deep emotional connection we crave with ourselves and with our partners. When your system is deprived, even a loving touch can feel distant, not because the love is gone, but because your body can't respond the way it once did. The good news is that when you start replenishing these minerals, even through simple changes in diet or targeted supplementation, the results can be surprisingly fast and powerful. I've seen men go from flat and fatigued to alive and engaged again. It's not magic. It's biology finally being supported the way it should be. In this video, I'll walk you through the 3 most overlooked minerals that can rebuild circulation, awaken desire, and restore that physical and emotional spark. And toward the end, I'll share the #1 mistake many men make that unknowingly cancels out all their progress. Trust me, you don't want to miss that. If this message resonates with you, hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell, not just to follow this channel, but to make a small commitment to your health. Type 1 in the comments if you're ready to take action, or 0 if you want me to improve this message next time. Now that we're on the same page, let's dive into what really matters, reclaiming the vitality that never truly left you. 1. Magnesium, the master of circulation. Let me ask you something personal. Have you ever felt like your body is slowing down? Not because of aging itself, but because something inside has lost its rhythm, that your circulation just doesn't flow the way it used to, and that your energy, especially in intimate moments, feels more like a flicker than a flame? If so, you're not alone. And what's more important, you're not broken. What you may be missing is magnesium. Magnesium is the unsung hero of male health. Over 60, it's not flashy, not often talked about, but it quietly governs some of the most vital systems in your body: your circulation, muscle function, hormonal balance, and yes, even your ability to fully experience closeness with your partner. Over the years in my clinic, I've heard the same quiet frustration repeated in different voices. A man walks in 67, maybe 72. He tells me he's tired all the time, that his legs cramp at night, that he's tossing and turning in bed, and worst of all, that something inside him feels distant. He's still present, still trying, but something feels off, disconnected. And too often, what's really happening is a slow, silent depletion of magnesium. You see, magnesium keeps your blood vessels relaxed and open. That means more oxygen and nutrients can reach every part of your body, including the parts that matter most when it comes to intimacy. Without enough magnesium, your vessels constrict, your muscles tighten, your energy leaks, like a pipe that's worn thin. And here's the kicker: as we age, especially if blood sugar starts to rise, if we're managing diabetes, the kidneys begin flushing magnesium out of the body at an alarming rate. You're not just losing sugar in your urine, you're losing your vitality. This starts a vicious cycle. Low magnesium levels make your body more insulin resistant, which raises your blood sugar even more, causing you to lose even more magnesium. Meanwhile, symptoms creep in: muscle twitches, restless nights, mood dips, and yes, slower, dulled physical response in the moments that matter most. But this goes deeper than just biology. When your blood flow falters and your nervous system stays in stress mode, it doesn't just affect performance, it affects presence. You may still love your partner, still want connection, but your body no longer meets your heart halfway, and that dissonance, that's where shame, distance, and silence begin to grow. Physical health and emotional well-being are never truly separate. Magnesium is like a conductor in a symphony. It calms the nervous system, supports testosterone production, and helps regulate your heartbeat. When your heart beats in rhythm, your breath slows, your thoughts quiet, and intimacy becomes less about performance and more about connection. Now here's the good news. You don't need a lab full of pills to fix this. Magnesium-rich foods are within arm's reach. Cooked spinach, pumpkin seeds, dark chocolate, almonds, and even avocado. These are not superfoods for marketing. They're biological reinforcements your body can recognize. And if you need additional support, magnesium glycinate or bisglycinate are gentle forms that absorb well and tend to calm the system without digestive upset. I've witnessed transformations. Men who used to drag themselves out of bed now wake up with energy. Men who once felt emotionally distant now feel reconnected, not just with their partners, but with themselves. And often, the first spark that reignites everything is simply giving the body what it's been quietly asking for all along. So, if this sounds familiar, if the signals your body is sending have gone ignored for too long, this may be your invitation to begin again. But magnesium is just the beginning. There's another mineral I want to talk about, one that's even more closely tied to male drive, desire, and inner fire. And chances are, your body is running low on it too. Stick with me, because what comes next may completely shift the way you think about aging, hormones, and vitality. Before we move on, I want to hear from you. Have you ever tested your magnesium levels, or tried a supplement that actually made a difference? Let me know in the comments below. Your story could help someone else take their first step. Let's move forward and uncover what your body has been missing next. To zinc, the hormonal stabilizer, led me ask you something that most men over 60 rarely pause to consider. What if the reason you feel more like a shadow than yourself has nothing to do with aging and everything to do with something small, silent, and missing? After 3 decades working closely with older men, I can tell you this question has changed lives. One of those lives belonged to Robert. He was 72, a retired mechanic, proud and grounded, the kind of man whose hands told stories of decades of work and resilience. But when he sat across from me that day, I sensed something was broken not in his body, but in his spirit. "Doc," he said quietly, "I just don't feel like myself anymore. My energy's down, my drive is gone. I feel like I'm fading." He thought it was just aging. But what I saw was something else, entirely a deficiency in one of the most vital minerals a man's body depends on. Zinc down now. Zinc doesn't get as much attention as testosterone or protein or even magnesium. But make no mistake, zinc is foundational. It supports hormone balance, strengthens your immune system, and is essential for testosterone production, the very hormone that fuels your energy, sex drive, motivation, and sense of masculine confidence. Without enough of it, all those systems begin to sputter. Here's what many men don't realize. As we age, we lose zinc faster than we can replace it. Stress, medications, rising blood sugar, all of these accelerate zinc loss. And every time you urinate, a small amount of zinc is flushed out. That might not seem like much, but over weeks, months, years, it adds up. And so do the consequences. The thing about low zinc is it doesn't shout, it whispers. You may notice small cuts take longer to heal, your skin seems thinner, your taste buds dull, or you start craving sugar. Maybe your mood feels flat, your brain a little foggy. You might even feel emotionally numb, not broken, but disconnected. And for many men, those whispers become a quiet ache. Why don't I feel like me anymore? But here's the good news. Deficiency is reversible, and when you replenish it, the change can be stunning. Testosterone stabilizes, sperm health improves, libido starts returning, even nerve function sharpens, restoring sensitivity and physical pleasure in ways many men thought were gone for good. It's like flipping a switch and feeling the lights come back on. So what can you do? First, let food work for you. Oysters, beef liver, pumpkin seeds, and chickpeas are rich in bioavailable zinc. And if your diet needs support, a high supplement like zinc picolinate or bisglycinate is often effective and gentle. Many of my patients report feeling clearer, stronger, more interested in life or fun within just a few weeks. Robert was one of them. When he returned a month later, there was a new light in his eyes, a smile I hadn't seen in years. He leaned forward and said, "Doc, I didn't think I'd ever feel like this again." That's the power of zinc. It's not just a key to reclaiming who you are now. I want to hear from you. Have you ever checked your zinc levels? Or tried a zinc-rich food or supplement that made a difference? Share your story in the comments. You might just give another man the courage to take his first step toward reclaiming himself. But don't go anywhere yet, because as powerful as zinc is, there's one more mineral that almost no one talks about, and yet it may be the missing link between your blood sugar, your nervous system, and the energy you wake up with each morning. Let's uncover that final piece. 3. Chromium, the blood sugar gatekeeper. I'll never forget the day I sat across from Harold, a 68-year-old retired truck driver, a man of discipline. He had managed his type 2 diabetes for nearly a decade, strict on medication, committed to diet changes, and consistent with physical activity. He was doing all the right things. Yet something was still deeply wrong. He looked at me, his voice calm but weary, and said, "Doctor, I'm doing everything they told me to do, but I'm still exhausted. My blood sugar swings up and down, and that spark I used to have, it's gone." Now, let's pause there, because what Harold described wasn't just about blood sugar. He was talking about the fire, that deep sense of vitality, motivation, energy, and yes, intimacy. That internal drive that makes a man feel grounded, powerful, and alive. And after listening carefully, I knew we weren't dealing with a lack of effort. We were dealing with a lack of chromium, a mineral most people don't even realize they're missing. Chromium may be one of the most overlooked minerals in men's health, but for men over 60, it's absolutely vital. You see, chromium is the mineral that helps insulin unlock the door to your cells, allowing glucose to move out of your bloodstream and into your cells, where it can actually be used as fuel. Without enough chromium, insulin becomes inefficient. Glucose builds up in the blood, and your energy, it crashes, but it gets worse. Elevated blood sugar actually causes the body to excrete even more chromium, creating a brutal cycle. The more out of balance your glucose is, the more chromium you lose, and the harder it becomes to restore energy and metabolic stability. Many men, like Harold, find themselves trapped in this silent loop, physically fatigued, mentally foggy, emotionally distant. But what makes chromium so powerful is not just its metabolic role. It also influences appetite, control, fat regulation, and hormonal balance. Low chromium levels increase sugar cravings, promote fat storage, and cause sharper energy crashes. Over time, this cascade can even impair testosterone production and diminish libido, stealing from a man not only his strength, but also his emotional connection and intimacy with his partner. Harold had lost that edge. Not just physically, but emotionally. He wasn't broken, he was drained. And when we began replenishing his chromium, the change was undeniable. With a few weeks of chromium-rich foods and a simple, targeted supplement, his blood sugar stabilized. His focus returned, and that grounded, confident version of himself began to resurface. If you're wondering how to start rebuilding your chromium levels, the good news is, it's simple. Foods like broccoli, Brazil nuts, grape juice, lean beef, and eggs all contain chromium. But for many older men, food alone isn't enough. In those cases, a daily dose of chromium picolinate form that's well absorbed and gentle on the body can make a real difference. It's not a miracle pill. It's restoration through precision. And perhaps the most important takeaway here is this. Harold didn't need another prescription. He didn't need more rules. What he needed was to fill a subtle, long-ignored gap his body had been quietly suffering with for years now. You might be thinking, how have I never heard about chromium before? You're not alone. Most men haven't. But there's a reason why deficiencies in minerals like magnesium, zinc, and chromium are so widespread, and it's not just aging. In fact, there are silent culprits, modern habits, and hidden environmental factors that are actively depleting your body of these minerals every single day. And unless you identify and remove them, even the best nutrition or supplementation won't fully restore your vitality. So, in the next part of this video, we're going to uncover these invisible thieves, the everyday routines, foods, and stresses that may be robbing you of strength, hormone balance, and emotional clarity without you even realizing it. But before we get there, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever tried chromium supplements? Or noticed an energy shift after eating certain foods? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Your story could spark someone else's healing journey. Let's keep going, because what we uncover next may be the key to finally reclaiming the full version of yourself that still lives inside. For why these three minerals work better together. If there's one thing I've learned after more than 3 decades treating men over 60, it's this: Your body doesn't operate in isolated systems. Everything is connected. And when it comes to energy, blood flow, and intimacy, this couldn't be more true. I remember seeing two patients back to back one afternoon. Both were in their mid-60s. Both were feeling sluggish, frustrated, and trying to reclaim their vitality. The first had been taking only magnesium. The second, he had started combining magnesium, zinc, and chromium consistently for a few weeks. What happened next was no accident. The first man saw some improvement, deeper sleep, minor relaxation, but the second came in with glowing eyes. He said, "Doc, for the first time in 10 years, I feel sharp. My energy is stable. My sleep is solid. My blood sugar's under control, and there's way more fire in the bedroom." This isn't just anecdotal, it's biological synergy, you see. Magnesium dilates your blood vessels, allowing oxygen and nutrients to flow freely throughout your body, especially to the organs most responsible for performance and stamina. Zinc steps in by supporting testosterone production, protecting nerve endings, and restoring the physical sensitivity that makes intimacy fulfilling. And chromium keeps insulin stable, preventing blood sugar crashes that tank your energy and leave you feeling irritable and distant. But the real magic happens when these three minerals work together. They form a triangle of support: circulation, hormonal balance, and metabolic control. Each one fills in the gaps the others can't cover alone. Good blood flow from magnesium means little if your hormones are depleted. Zinc-driven testosterone won't help if your blood sugar keeps crashing. And energy from glucose can't reach your muscles if poor circulation leaves your tissues starved. One mineral helps, but three together, they restore the full system. That's why so many men feel like they're doing everything right: eating cleaner, exercising, taking basic supplements, yet still feel off, because their system is out of sync. The balance they need has quietly eroded over the years through stress, poor sleep, aging, and the daily grind. And most don't even know it's happening. But here's the encouraging part. When you start giving your body the right combination of these nutrients, whether through smarter food choices or targeted, high-quality supplements, the results are often noticeable within weeks. Men report not just improved energy, but emotional presence, better sleep, stronger connection, clearer thinking, and a powerful return of that sense of being themselves again. Because this isn't just about physical health, it's about the mental clarity that comes when your body isn't constantly struggling to compensate. It's about emotional confidence, feeling responsive, again, not just in the bedroom, but in daily life. When the system works, the man comes back online. But this is the part most men miss. Even if you begin supplementing magnesium, zinc, and chromium, you might still be undoing their effects every single day, without even knowing it. And here's the twist. It's not about what you're not doing. It's about what you are doing that's secretly draining you. There are hidden habits, things we consider normal or harmless, that quietly strip these minerals from your system, weaken absorption, and disrupt the very balance you're trying to restore. From certain medications to specific foods to common stressors, These subtle thieves can sabotage your progress before it even starts. In the next part of this video, I'll walk you through the most common habits that are silently robbing your body of these essential minerals, blocking your energy, dulling your motivation, and dimming your spark. And more importantly, I'll show you what you can do today to stop it. Before we move on, I want to hear from you. Have you tried combining magnesium, zinc, and chromium? What changes have you noticed, or what's still missing? Drop a comment below. Your experience could help another man reconnect with his health and confidence. Let's continue this journey, because understanding what's been working against you may finally unlock the results you've been waiting for. 5. The hidden killers that drain these essential minerals. I once had a patient named Frank. He was 71, sharp, witty, the kind of guy who could light up a room with a joke. But during one visit, his tone shifted. He looked at me, tired but sincere, and said, "Doc, I'm doing everything you said, taking the right supplements, eating better, but I still don't feel right. My legs are weak, my mind's not sharp, and to be honest, I can't show up for my wife the way I used to." So we sat down and took a deeper look, not at what Frank wasn't doing, but at what he was doing every day without realizing the damage. And that's when it hit me. Frank wasn't failing, he was unintentionally undoing his own progress. He was silently depleting the very minerals his body was fighting to rebuild. Most men don't realize this, but there are daily foods and habits that act like thieves, quietly robbing your body of magnesium, zinc, and chromium. These aren't just missing from your diet, they're being flushed out, or blocked by what you consume and how you live. Let's take a closer look. Start with refined sugar. Every time your blood sugar spikes, your kidneys go into overdrive too. Protect your system, and in the process, they excrete both magnesium and chromium. The more sugar you eat, the more of these crucial minerals your body sends down the drain. Over time, this creates a vicious cycle: fatigue, brain fog, and metabolic instability. Then there's caffeine. A couple of cups of coffee might seem harmless, but when you factor in sodas, energy drinks, and the stress of daily life, it adds up. Caffeine interferes with magnesium absorption and overstimulates your adrenal system, throwing off hormonal balance and blood flow, especially to the areas that matter most for male vitality. Alcohol is even more insidious. It depletes zinc rapidly, ramps up systemic inflammation, and disrupts testosterone production, the trifecta that weakens physical performance, energy, and intimacy. Even moderate intake, over time, can create deficiencies that undermine your health from the inside out. Some men also unknowingly worsen things with excess. Calcium supplementation. While calcium is essential, too much of it competes with magnesium and zinc for absorption. So even if you're taking your magnesium supplement every morning, it might not be doing its job if your calcium intake is disproportionately high. And then there's processed food, microwaved meals, white bread, packaged snacks. These ultra-processed items are stripped of nutrients and often filled with additives that block mineral absorption. In other words, they're not just empty calories, they're actively harmful to the mineral balance your body depends on. When I laid all this out for Frank, he was stunned. I had no idea I was sabotaging my own recovery. He told me, but once he cut the sugar, replaced sodas with water, moderated caffeine, and cleaned up his daily routines, something incredible happened. His energy rebounded, his mind felt clearer, and yes, the emotional and physical connection with his wife returned, stronger than it had been in years. Because this isn't just about supplements. It's about creating an internal environment where your body can absorb, utilize, and thrive on the nutrients you give it. And once you remove the invisible forces working against you, that's when your real transformation begins. So now that you understand what's been draining your system, the next question is, how do you rebuild? How do you restore blood flow, stabilize energy, and reignite that inner fire in a way that's simple, sustainable, and designed specifically for men over 60. That's exactly what we'll cover next. In the final part of this video, I'll walk you through a 7-day plan that helps you reset your body, restore nutrient absorption, and start feeling like you again without complexity, without guesswork, and without wasting time on things that don't work. But before we go there, I want to hear from you. Have you unknowingly been sabotaging your own progress through sugar, caffeine, or stress? Let me know in the comments. Your story might be the wake-up call another man desperately needs. Let's move forward, because now that we've cleared the path, it's time to build something stronger. 7-day reset, rebuild, reignite. Reconnect when I talk with older men about reclaiming their strength, energy, and intimacy. Most assume it's going to take months or worse, that it's already too late. But what I've seen again and again in my own patients tells a very different story. Change can happen faster than you think. I once worked with a man named George. He was 66, a widower who had recently remarried. He came into my office visibly embarrassed and said, "Doc, I'm happy again, but my body can't keep up with my heart." Instead of overwhelming him with prescriptions or restrictive diets, we started something simple, a 7-day plan. No crash diets, no exhausting routines, just the right foods, a few smart supplements, and easy, intentional daily habits. Within 1 week, George felt a surge of energy, clearer thinking, and in his own words, a fire I didn't think I'd ever feel again. This plan worked because it wasn't about gimmicks or hype. It was about restoring what time and stress had quietly taken away, his core minerals, his circulation, and his sense of control. Each day built on the next, targeting stability, strength, and emotional reconnection. It all started with a solid breakfast every morning, 2 eggs, sautéed spinach, a few slices of avocado. This combination delivers magnesium, zinc, and chromium, very foundation for blood sugar balance, hormone support, and energy throughout the day. Mid-morning, a handful of pumpkin seeds and a square of dark chocolate. Not just satisfying, but rich in magnesium and zinc to quietly fuel recovery. Lunch looked like grilled salmon, quinoa, and steamed broccoli, a powerful trio for heart health, blood flow, and metabolic stability. Dinner, grass-fed beef with rainbow chard or steamed asparagus, nourishing your cardiovascular system and hormonal axis at the same time. And before bed, just 1 Brazil nut and a warm cup of calming herbal tea. That small nut contains enough chromium to support overnight blood sugar regulation and magnesium to promote deep, healing sleep. But food wasn't the only piece. George followed a simple supplement routine every morning. 200 milligrams magnesium glycinate, 15 milligrams zinc picolinate, 200 mcg chromium picolinate. No megadosize, just clinically supported, well-absorbed forms of what his body truly needed. He also took a 15-minute walk after lunch and practiced light stretching in the evening. No gyms, no pressure, just consistency and intention. And after 7 days, he didn't just feel better. He felt more like himself, more capable, more emotionally present, more alive. And that, not a number on a lab test, is the goal, not to become a new man, but to reconnect with the man you've always been, because that's what this entire journey is really about. It's not just about what to eat or what to take. It's about what it means to take care of yourself again, to show up for the people you love, and to live fully in a body that supports who you are and how you want to feel. And now, as we close this phase of the conversation, I want to speak to you not as a doctor to a patient, but as one man to another. This matters, not just for your physical health, but for your mental clarity, your sense of worth, and the relationships that make life meaningful. You are not broken, you are not too old, and you are certainly not done. What you need now is momentum and a plan you can actually sustain. So, in the next video, we're going to talk about exactly that: how to carry this forward, how to make it stick, and how to protect your progress long after the first 7 days. But before we continue, I'd love to hear from you. What part of this 7-day reset spoke to you most? The meals, the supplements, the mindset shift? Drop a comment below. Let's keep the conversation going, because you're not just watching a video, you're rebuilding a foundation, and it starts with this next step. 7. You're not broken, you're just ready to begin again. There's one truth I've learned after decades working with men over 60, it's this: you're not broken, you're not past your prime, and you're certainly not a faded version of who you used to be. You're still him, the strong, capable, passionate man who once felt alive in every part of his body. You've just been running on empty for too long. Life, stress, aging, medications, they've slowly drained the fuel your body needs to perform, connect, and thrive. But now you know the truth. Magnesium, zinc, chromium, these aren't just nutrients. They're keys to your blood flow, your hormone balance, your strength, and your intimacy. And when you restore them, you don't just improve your health, you reconnect with parts of yourself you thought were gone for good. I've seen it in the eyes of men who walk back into my office just a few weeks after starting this journey, walking taller, speaking clearer, and smiling with a quiet confidence they nearly forgot they had. You don't have to settle. You don't have to give up. Your body remembers how to be strong. It's just been waiting for you to give it what it needs. And this is only the beginning. Because in the next video, I'll walk you through a powerful morning habit that boosts circulation naturally, supports testosterone, and helps you start each day with clarity, vitality, and purpose. You won't want to miss that. But before you go, take a moment to reflect. What part of this video resonated most with you? Was it the 7-day plan, the message, or simply the reminder that you're not alone? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story could be the exact spark another man needs right now. If you haven't already, feel free to like this video and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to be gently reminded when the next chapter drops, go ahead and click the bell icon. Not because you have to, but because you deserve to keep showing up for you. See you in the next video, my friend. You've already taken the first step back to strength. Now, let's keep moving forward.